Ron, because you alluded to something, and Kat even made mention to it when she made this comment. Fans feel it. Everybody in house says it, and I can't lie. You and I feel like you and I both kind of thought this is where we were leaning to, but they decided to keep Ron. Yeah. Now, was that the right move? I mean, still the players love him. He knows, how strong that bond is. But I mean, why don't we just clean house and get Ron out and get Jack Del Rio and all of them out? Why do we keep Ron?
I think it's a little bit of a little bit like the owners are watching. They know people are watching to see what they're going to do. So I've already kind of mentioned that a little bit. Yeah. But also it's sort of like, well, what's the point? Yeah. We've got 5 more games. We know he's not, at 4-8, we know he's not going to be back. He wasn't going to be back at 4-7. We lost the Giants. I mean, that really was kind of like, this is over with.
Right.
And so are you delaying the inevitable? I mean, are you just allowing to delay the inevitable? Absolutely. But you're just letting him ride out his time. He's also been through a lot of crap here while he was here. Right. But to everyone that wants him fired, he's going to get fired. He's going to get fired at the end of the year. It just may not be in December, but it's going to happen. They know what they want. He's not doing it. He had to, have a miracle coaching season. It certainly hasn't happened. Yeah. But also, why not Ron? Well, who's going to take over? Now Ron has taken over play calling duties for the defense. I actually wasn't sure. I did not think they would fire Jack Del Rio because of that. Because behind him, they have a bunch of nobody defensive coaches who can't coordinate plays. So I'm a little bit surprised that Ron's now our defensive coordinator and taking over, those play callings. And so you can't just fire all these guys because you're mad at them if you don't have people in-house to take over. And that just shows how poor and inexperienced the coaching staff we had going into this season.
Right. And it almost makes you wonder, because I remember seeing the press release from Josh Harris, and Josh said that he talked to Ron, and Ron made the suggestions for JDR and this guy. So it makes you wonder, because we both had them both on the hot seat, and now you give Ron a little power, and so then he gets I thought Jack was his guy, right? And he was quick to be like, "Oh no, he's the problem. He's the problem. Get him out of here." So I agree that Ron. I think they're going to give him the benefit of the doubt, like you said, dealing with cancer in 2020 and somehow resurrecting our season. He's had moderate success midway through the season. We've known how many quarterbacks he's had, and he's still able to put a decent product on the field. He's signed 2 of our top guys, Deron Payne and Jonathan Allen. So there are positives with him, but we're not winning. Nope. So let's go on to what everybody seems to be crying about. Oh, we need EB. Bring Eric Bieniemy. He's here for this. Let him be the new coach for next 5 games, X, Y, and Z. I'm going to say, pump your brakes. EB, let him be the offensive coordinator. Let him get that role under his belt before we all of a sudden just thrust him into this head coaching position. Because I don't know if you guys realized it, but we still have problems outside of that. And recently, if I'm not mistaken, Ron was even trying to take some of what, the control that he had given to EB, to kind of keep that in house. So talk to me, because everybody's saying EB's the answer. Bring EB in. We need to have EB. Why is he the answer, or why not?
Yeah, I mean, it does make sense to say, why don't you give EB a chance to take over this team for the next 4, 5, 6 games, depending on if they were to do it, and see what he can show, and then you determine what you've got, going into next year. Part of me feels like, don't you think these owners have or do you have enough faith in these new owners that they've got a pulse on this team, on this locker room, to decide whether EB is going to be an option? And also, I'm sorry, but our team doesn't need to be his trial. Okay.
There you go.
I want to see a winner. Okay. And I want these ownerships to come in and bring in the best guy available, not just because he's in our building and has been passed over in times before that he should get an opportunity with us. Because I want our team to get a total clean house of bringing in the top personnel, the top coaches to take some of our talent and maximize it. And right now, I'm not seeing EB maximize our talent on offense at all. So I don't really care whether he gets promoted during the season or if he gets hired at the end of the season. Good. Like if he determines to be the best man for the job, then great. But I don't feel the need that we should be his trial run for us. Now I'm gonna let you kind of answer it, but you've heard John Keim's podcast. I have not. So if there's anything in there about it, share with us what you read.
Well, and a lot of it has to go with just the focus on the O-line and the fact that, look, one of the things that John Keim was saying was that it just, with like what you were saying, with the last 5 games, Ron has been here. Let's give him that. Let's let him play out, see what the players, if they're playing for him, if they decide to still get amped up to play. But EB, look, there's a reason why EB wasn't head coach. There's a reason why all these teams, in my opinion, passed up on him, and that's because he still has some things that I think he has to learn. We know about that hard, demanding behavior and that, all that, which is good. I'm all for it. I'm an old school coach like that, so I love that. But I also will say that you do have to have an empathetic side. You do have to have a side where you could talk to these guys, and I think that's the bridge that Ron has. And I really kind of feel like if they had made that cross, that's burning the bridge. I think that is it. There's no connection, in my opinion, at that point from the owners to the players. Ron is that connection. EB, I know we all praise him and we've seen how good he has been doing, but he's also been struggling. We've been complaining about him a lot, and that's just with the offense and how he's running with that. So, in my opinion, with him, you can't just, like you said, you can't just fire everybody and then say, all right, I'm going to put this guy in this position, because we still have major issues all around. And he just has to let him just focus on the offense, because some of those major issues are right there. You know what I mean? So yeah, that I for me, EB and from what I've been hearing, right now, as far as what they got with Ron and EB, that's staying the same. And they don't look, like you said, maybe it's just because it is 5 games remaining. It just doesn't appear like they're in a real hurry to kind of elevate EB because of a lot of things. The players, I think, are a big part of that. What do you think?
Well, so I will say this for fans to think about. If you want us to have the best draft pick possible, do you want to promote Eric Bieniemy and have what if he rallies the troops and you win a couple more games? So if it's hard as a fan to accept losses, but if you're already thinking towards next year and what we may do with, what left tackle can we get, what defensive end can we get? Well, let Ron ride this out. Let the team lose these games. This is exactly what you actually want. What we really need to see right now is for the team to compete, to see Sam develop, and for the team to lose. Losing games 23-20 is the best thing to happen for this team, because you're seeing more from Sam to say, okay, maybe he is our guy next year. And yet you're losing, and so you're getting a better chance at some top players, because there are some, obviously every draft has some outstanding players. There's some top left tackles that are available, and if you win a couple more games, you may win yourself out. If we were to have the typical Washington Ron Rivera 7-8 win season,
16.
You're going to be in the middle of the pack of the first round, and you're missing out on these guys, and you're picking Emmanuel Forbes. You're picking Jamin Davis. You're not getting the left tackle that you wanted. You're not getting the corner that you really wanted, like a Devin Witherspoon, because you won too many games. So take that perspective, that leaving Ron in there, so albeit while everyone wants to see him go because all he does is sit there with his hands folded, is also getting you where you need to be, which is setting ourselves up for next year.
I look to that point. I will say I don't know how many more games I could sit here and watch him, where it's like, is he breathing? Is he okay? Because it's just
got a reaction here. Are you okay with this? Yeah.
I mean, that's what it is. It's just
I know.
And then he has the glasses, and sometimes looking up. I'm just like, Ron, come on, buddy. Like, and I get being stoic. I get that, but still, you gotta give me something, man.
Where's the energy after the game in the locker room, on the sidelines? He when they had big wins the last 4 years, he would say, everything we need is in this locker room. Right. Where is that going up to these guys when they start to mess up in game and saying, like, what you do? And I'm not using the right words here, but like getting on them at all. And we're not. Like, he does nothing. That's what it just doesn't make any sense.
No, it does. You're exactly right. This is the Ron we want.
Yes.
Give me that.
It's there. He has it.
Yeah. And it was us. And I remember that point. It was us against the world. I think we had just beaten Seattle or something in that game. And we had fought tooth and nail all the way down. And he was amped. And to your point, that's when he's going in the locker room saying, everything we need is here. You always hear everybody saying, Michigan against the world, Georgia against the world, whatever. That was literally the epitome of that, where those guys come together. I mean, and we saw it when those guys got, what was it? The not all pro, but the Pro Bowl, Jeremy Reeves last year, and how emotional he got and telling coach, he said, I'll run through a wall for you. That's where I and I'm even kind of getting chills now, because I love that from a player's perspective. I would fight for that guy.
Yeah.
But Will, you trained me to look at this from a little higher perspective, and you got to have the product on the field. And we know that it's Ron. Ron has been in control of a lot of these things. And I get that he's had issues with Dan Snyder and things like that. But just with this year and finally getting Dan out and things like you gotta do better than this. And if you're not doing better, you need to show us that you're kind of ticked off that you're not doing better.
Right. Like, it's okay if they keep losing these games, we get a good draft pick. Could you show some emotion out there, Ron? Can you really just do something other than fold your chest? Or she'll fold your arms over on, across your chest. It's just, it's getting old.
Yeah, it is. It is in a heartbeat. Jeremy is in the comments. What's up, Jeremy?
Hey.
How you doing, buddy? How you doing? Jeremy, quick pit stop. I know you had talked to me about StreamYard. There is a Black Friday sale. If you were trying to expand your StreamYard reach, definitely take a look at that. Definitely just gave them a little plug.
Dun, 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 dun.
Let's go. The Washington Commanders. There it is.